Hey guys, and welcome back to another Lost Bits video right here on TetraBitGaming, the series where we explore the unused, altered, and unseen content in gaming. So about 2 months after initially dropping in a totally ready state, well, I'm watching you, you're like,
AJ,
where are you,
on
dude?
top of the roof?
I don't know where I am.
You're like,
Oh
Hey?
yeah, that's not a good
So
sign.
getting the kill on.
Did I just die?
on February 13th, 2023, the developers of Project Playtime have dropped a new update, just in time for Valentine's Day. Now, in addition to a new intro cinematic, as well as a Valentine's Day themed event, and of course some more cosmetic items to buy, who would have seen that coming, there are also a few new changes to the game's files, namely a big update to the unused steel mill map that we discussed in some of my previous videos. So stick around, beat up that like button below, let's check out some more Project Playtime Lost Bits. Alright, now first, before we get to the main part of this video with the new unused map, there's a few smaller things that I want to touch on. For starters, the unused low-poly Buggy Wuggy skin for Huggy Wuggy that we went over in my previous videos has been seemingly made playable by some fans modifying the game. It's still not added in full, as even as someone that does have access to all of the cosmetics in the game courtesy of the devs, I still can't even see this skin in my inventory. Buggy Wuggy was apparently the first monster skin that was implemented into the game and was never meant to actually be a skin that players could see or have access to. And unfortunately, even though some of the devs have mentioned their intention to just keep it as a private dev-only skin, kind of like how the Mob Games hoodie that I somehow have, I'm still hoping that one day we do see this low-poly fella accessible to the public. It's honestly pretty creepy, but on the flip side, the first-person view when playing as Huggy this way just looks hilarious. Then next, Project Playtime also got a few smaller changes, including finally implementing at least some form of anti-cheat, and the player model also got an update, now seemingly having updated joints and a different texture, making it look slightly more worn down than before. There's new coding in the game that appears to show that the ability to create presets for your character's cosmetic loadout is being worked on, something that was seemingly removed from the game from earlier builds. There's also this currently unused trash bin icon, as well as this one that looks to be a placeholder simply listed as a trap ability icon, where we can just see a crudely drawn X over the cube below, which is otherwise seen when no sabotage is equipped when playing as a monster. Currently, it's not 100% clear what this placeholder graphic was meant for. And now for the best part of this update, like I mentioned earlier, a new unused map has been added into the files of the game. And I say new like that since although this is a new and unique map, it actually appears to be an updated remake of the Steel Mill map as I covered in my previous videos. And if you haven't seen those, yeah, this is the next upcoming map that's seen as coming soon on the map selection screen. Anyways, right off the bat, the working name for this map has been changed from Steel Mill to Recycle Mill instead, and the reason for this will be pretty clear soon. Now, overall, this map looks pretty similar to the previous Steel Mill map, but the scale of this new map is much larger, and yeah, although still obviously not quite complete, this map does look much more polished. For one, although still lacking most textures and stuff, the lighting here already looks quite great, with a bunch of lighting coming from this large central blast furnace thing where currently the melted material is still static, but I reckon this will be animated for the release version of this map. The lighting and shadows here, yeah, I'm a big fan. Now, another thing you'll notice as we fly around here is that not only are some of the walls colored blue, but a bunch of them will also display some text in the middle as well. Now, we haven't seen this in the game before, but this basically just indicates which face of the geometry is facing outwards, as well as the length, width, and height of each unit, here seen in centimeters. And speaking of text that we can see around the map, much like the text we saw in the original Steel Mill map, here too we can find more text floating around that gives us some more context into how some areas are planned to function or what they will eventually be made into. For example, here we can see some text explicitly just indicating that eventually a bunch of pipes and valves are meant to be implemented here. On the flip side, some text is less than clear. For example, here, where the text is actually partially obscured by this wall, it says, "Material to be blast furnace staging open wall a bit stretch goal." Now, although maybe not worded the best, I think this is saying that this area will be some sort of staging area where the material that is to be sent to the blast furnace will be consolidated first. But being listed as a stretch goal, I guess this may or may not end up actually coming to fruition. I suppose only time will tell. And what exactly is the material that is going to be blast furnace, you might be wondering? Well, unlike in the previous steel mill map, where it seemed like basically only steel was going to be melted down and processed there, here we actually do have some text indicating that this map instead would melt down reject toys to recycle them, and we'd see areas with dumpsters full of discarded toys. Kinda sad, really. So yeah, remember Sir Poops-a-Lot and all those other toys seen in that one room in Poppy Playtime Chapter 2? Well, looks like this is their ultimate fate. And based on the fact that the toys are now being recycled here and it's not just a generic steel mill area, it should be a little more clear as to why this is now called a recycle mill instead of just a steel mill. Now, one other bit of floating developer text can be found up here, and this one mentions a yet-to-be-implemented grapple that can be used to escape a mezzanine area in the map. Now, without being able to actually play on this map yet, I feel like I don't have enough context yet to make any more sense of just how this grapple will work. Now, that's a quick breakdown of all the more notable stuff found inbounds, but there are also a whole bunch of things found outside of the walls of the regular play area down here. For starters, we got the essentials like the lobby waiting area up here, as well as the area that's used for the monster selection screen where all 3 monsters can be seen loaded in at the same time. Then, far off from the lobby area is this large chunk of geometry. I can't really tell what this is meant to be outside of just a wall or something. And similarly, outside of one of the map's train station areas is a bunch of shapes where we can also see some glowing hot slabs of presumably material that was processed at this mill. Just based on how they're kinda laid out here, my best guess is that this is some sort of really early conveyor system that was whipped up for moving these slabs along. I guess it was replaced or canned pretty quickly though, due to how basic it appears here. Next, found under the map is a mishmash of different things. We have this chunk of level geometry that has some walls and windows and such. There's a random single arm of the chandelier that's seen in the theater map found down here for whatever reason. And then, as we look even lower, not only can we see the Wulog pit area for this map ready to go, below it are several large platforms in a bunch of different colors. Nothing like this has been seen in any of the other maps in the game, both used or unused. So yeah, I'm not really sure what the intention is with these and why they're seen here in different colors. If you have any knowledge about this, be sure to let us know down in the comments. And that's not all, as lastly, found just under these planes is another weird structure. At first I thought it might have been an early model of the Wuggy pit, but upon closer inspection, seeing these pipe-like parts, it's more likely that it's some sort of early version of the main blast furnace section of the map. Anyways, it's super cool to see that the steel mill map got such a big update, but although it still says coming soon on the level selection screen, seeing how unfinished this is still, it may be a few more months till this makes it to the game. Anyways, yeah, that's a quick look at some of the new normally unused stuff that's been added to Project Playtime. With Chapter 3 of Poppy Playtime being likely released in the near future, stay tuned for a video on that hopefully, and if there's any more interesting unused stuff ever added to this game, make sure you're subscribed to find your way back here in the future. Till then, check out some of my other videos on unused content, and as always, thank you all so much for stopping by today, and I will see you in a bit.